Hello, this is Cooper Andrews, and you are watching the Convention Junkies. And you're also listening to the Convention.
Good morning. How's everybody? Enjoying this? This is amazing. My name is Mike Stubbs. I'm from Global News Radio, 980 CFPL, and this man needs no introduction, but we'll give him an introduction anyway. Yes. Please welcome Cooper Andrews from The Walking Dead to London Comic-Con.
Thank you.
You have a beard and a battle axe. You can do anything, right?
I feel invincible.
Wow.
They don't let me bring that. It's the weirdest thing. I had a guy in a huge fight with TSA. It's like, my axe, please. And they're like, no, dude. I was like, fine.
Now, how sharp is that thing? Like the one you use on set, because it looks awfully sharp when you do your damage.
Okay, so you have to think about sharp times force, I guess. So at any heavy weight, it's sharp enough. Yeah, it could do what it did on the show.
Oh yeah, like in
maybe
like in half,
stronger.
Like that, like in half.
I always felt like it would have been. If it was, it read like I cut the guy from clavicle to like waist. I feel like I would hit like clavicle, and then when you're trying to use a knife or a saw for the first time, and you kind of just do like an awkward cut. I was like, I hope I don't scoop his torso off, but I didn't. I cut him half like I was supposed to. So
isn't it great how much thought you've put into things like this?
It's like I'm really gonna cut this man in half today. I mean, it was such and doing that, I was like. Well, first off, I didn't know what happened to me. It's like kingdoms all shut up, everyone's dying, and when I read the scripts, I don't read it as like what's my character doing. I just read it as if I'm watching the show. 'Cause I'm a fan, and I'm like, oh man, Ezekiel's about to get his head cut off. I was like, this sucks. And then we hear a scream like it's Jerry, but not like how we've ever seen him. He's a berserker, and I was like, oh, all right. And then boom, and he chops a man from clavicle to waist. I'm like, all right. I thought I knew anatomy a little bit. Nope. Okay. Yeah. No. I'm bisecting a man. This is great. Fantastic. A human, not a walker, by the way. That's harder.
Where did that come from in you? Because you had to make that noise. You had to have that somewhere in you. Did you have that at some point in your life that you knew it would come out when you needed it?
I knew. See, when it comes to, I don't do like replacement, like I don't do memory, like I don't have to draw from like a sad time of my life, because when you're sad about a dog dying versus you're sad about your group being shot up, it's a different kind of sadness. So I just imagined everyone got shot up, and that was I took it was very easy for me that day since all the bodies were there, and then it was 100. It was all right. I don't know Celsius. I'm sorry, but Fahrenheit. You guys probably know both. You guys are so smart. All right, so it was like 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was 100% humidity. Between each take, I was drinking a water and a Gatorade. But to do that yell, I did like this Van Damme thing he does, where when he yells, but then he just keeps it going. He's like ah. So I had to do that, and each time after each take, I nearly passed out. Like no joke, nearly passed out. Cause
you got to eventually get oxygen.
Yeah, and then all the air is out, and so when you're breathing it back in, you're like, and Kari's on the ground, and he's like cut. He goes, get this man a Gatorade, and it was like each time I was about to, because I'm like, that's a really short yell. I got to go longer with that. So Van Dammed it. That was the only time. I didn't do any splits, unless you count the guy.
We are open to questions at any point. I mean, this is as interactive as you want it to be. We'll talk about a lot of different things, but if you have a question, throw the hand in the air and make sure that you ask Cooper exactly what you were hoping you could ask him, okay? So let's make that clear.
Yes.
So start that up at any point. But let's sorry.
There's mic stands, so if they have a question.
Oh, nice. Okay. If you do have a question, look at you guys are amazing. How great is this setup? These guys are fantastic. So if you have a question, we'll know because you will get up and you will go to the microphone and we will stop and you can ask your question.
I like that plan.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
It seems straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's kind of go back to the beginning of The Walking Dead because you are an actor, but at the same time, you were kind of like us in that this show was starting, and people started saying things like, "Did you see? You see what show is on? You see what's going on? It's intense. There's zombies." And a friend would always tell you, "You got to watch this." Where were you when that was starting to happen? When Walking Dead was starting to happen?
I definitely wasn't one. There's some people out there that are like, "Oh, I can't do zombies." And I'm just thinking, you had a traumatic experience in your past from this stuff. Well, and I'm like, I don't. But with Walking Dead, I started watching it when season 1 went on Netflix. It was before season 2 had aired, and I had no clue what this show was. I was just like, I saw they had the frame, I guess, and I just like, oh, that looks really nice. And then I watched that pilot, and then after that, I mean, we've all seen the pilot, but after you watch it, you're like, okay, I'm in. You're like, let's do this. And yeah, I was probably one of the people saying, you need to watch this show. I was one of those people. So I never knew what it was like not to know because no one had mentioned it to me. So I thought I discovered this little indie show on Netflix, and I was like, oh, it's going to be massive. Got it. All right, fine. And then Melissa McBride, she used to be a casting director, and it was just really funny because I thought she had, like in real life, had passed away. And then when I saw her on screen, I was like, oh, there she is. Yeah, because she came in, she had long hair, and then one day she had the short hair, and then she put a headscarf on. And I told her about it when we were filming season 7, and she's like, you thought I was dead. I was like, yeah, you're not, I'm not. I'm like, I know. But yeah, that was, so when I first saw it, and then I started hearing people talk about it. I'm like, oh, you watched that show too? Okay, guess I'm not special.
But then how do you go from that point in your life to, yeah, I think there's a place that I could be, and there's a role that I could play. How does that come about?
That was weird. I mean, I was doing that other show, Halt and Catch Fire, which was the same network on AMC for us, and as that character was going away, as my character was going away on that show, that's when they're like, oh, hey, they want you for to read for this, and I was like, sure. And when I read for Jerry, it was like a tough guy. It wasn't they read him as like really stoic and just tough, and I was like, all right. They're like, and he made me do, Scott Gimple, he had me do like 3 or 4 different versions of the character, and none of them were how I really wanted to do it. And then we had this talk the night before we filmed over Skype, and he was like, the thing I cast you for is just because of your audition. It's like when you slated, you were like really happy, and your smile made me happy. But when you don't smile, you're terrifying. So maybe Jerry is a very happy guy, and when time calls for it, he might be the exact opposite and quite frightening person. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. I like that. And so I got to just, especially with Jerry, I just get to, there's no real wrong. Well, there's a lot of wrong, but he can kind of just do whatever, and it's not as, he's not as controlled, because there's always comedy that has to be like laid into him, but sometimes it's not trying to just be funny. It's just trying to, like, my mind isn't like, how is this going to be funny? It's just, well, Jerry's really hungry, and now you're telling him he can't bring cobbler on this route. Like, why not? So like from seasons, and so, and Kari's always like, do I have to be mean to him? Do I have to yell at him? They're like, yes. He's like, all right, Jerry, but he always wants to be like, he always wanted to deliver like, Jerry, like that. He wanted to be like super sweet about it. And he's like, no, be hard, Jerry. It was fun, yeah.
Was anybody hoping that there would be some cobbler here? Because, I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't come across the border very well. That's the only thing. So if there is an American Comic-Con, sometimes there could be cobbler?
Oh, yeah. No, I usually have cobbler at every convention. So
yeah?
I feel really bad. I'm sorry.
No,
guys.
It's okay. Because
guys.
I wanted you to know it was not Cooper's fault. This was just you can't take bologna across the border. You have to finish a sub. You're eating a sub. You got to finish the sub before you go across the border. You can transport it internally, but
you can, and it's nice. Mm-hmm. I like doing that. It helps me sleep on the plane. 2 feet of sub.
When you look at how this show is evolving, and you look at the idea that here you are up on stage and answering questions about this show. What is it like to be in that position?
You forget it, and me especially, I forget it a lot. That still when I'll get stopped a lot, but every time I do, I keep thinking, do we go to school with each other? Like, how do we know each other? And and it used to be like screams of like Jerry, and now it's where I'm like, hey Cooper, I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, oh man, okay, oh, where did I know you from? I'm so sorry. And I'm like just talking. Anyways, wanted you to know, yeah, so cool meeting you. I'm like, oh, right, okay, yeah, all right, cool. But you forget, and to me, my favorite part about filming and all that is just the filming, the acting. We did the red carpet premiere last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and it's fun. But that's not the part I like. I just like I like talking about the show. I like doing the show, but I don't like the dressing up. I'm always like, oh, I can't move. I was telling, like, I got out of the limo, like, ass first. Like, I was coming out backwards. Sorry, but I came out backwards, and that was the opening to my red carpet experience of the year. I was like, this isn't not, oh, God, I just want to be on a couch.
So,
say again? Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, I know. I should have. Yeah, then I'd have probably been sitting on it, and that'd been even worse when I came out.
now, at the same time, sometimes you take stuff home from the set that winds up on pillows and blankets. I can't imagine how much bedding you go through based on what they put on you to be on set.
Yeah, so so the biggest thing is like, everyone knows the hours are long. We can do like, anywhere. It's as short as 14-hour days, and it can be as long as like, especially because it takes me an hour and a half to get to work, and so at the very least, I'm looking at like 17 hours a day, and you get home and you just want to pass out. So I have to like put on a hat because my hair will have like dirt, blood, whatever is in it. And so when you you go to bed and you wake up horrified, what happened? Oh my God, who did this? And you're like, oh, this is you dirty bastard. Take a shower. So yeah, you do forget. Like when I wake up, I forget what I did, like work wise, until I look at the pillow. I'm like, oh right, you were in mud. That's what you did.
When you arrive on set, you mentioned like the 14-hour days. What is kind of the order of operations of a day for you? What happens? You get there and...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a crew member. I was a boom operator for like over 10 years doing that show, other shows. That's the sound guy. And that was hard, and they're both hard. Crew mostly is harder, but there's some days where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be, no matter what I do in this next moment, I know I'm going to cut myself on that thing. No matter what happens, there's no avoiding it. I'm about to get really hurt. And it's bad because, you can stop it, but then it's like, I don't want to waste another like 30 minutes doing this. Let's just get this in like 3 takes and then complain about it later. Yeah, so I get there. I'll tell the crew life first because it's a very different lifestyle. Crew, you get there on the dot because I wouldn't give them an extra minute for free. I'm like, I'm already here too long. I'm not giving you like an extra 10 minutes. So I'm always the guy that shows up right on time, ready to work at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 4 a.m. Doesn't matter. And it's just a long day of like wiring and looking at the shots, setting it up. Actor side, you get there, they ask you for breakfast, and you're like, well, I would like this today, and they'll make you whatever. So that's really hard that they give you so many options. Then they put you in makeup and hair, which is honestly really fun because that's sort of like the morning, like, okay, human interaction. Let's start waking up and doing this. So you get that hair makeup part, and that's fun. And then I noticed I became a lot more like skin conscious. Keep this. I become more like a skin aware ever since the show because I'm like, I don't want to put more makeup on. Don't put makeup on me. So I'm like, all right, I need to use this cleanser. I need to put this lotion on my face. And I just like for makeup, it's like if they put it on, it's usually like them like flicking the brush for like blood or dirt. And so I see this a lot. I'm like trying to keep my eyes as like open as I can while still having them closed so they can hit your eyelids. It's a weird feeling. And I'm like so trained, and now like with hair, like I know to turn, flip my head, flip it back after they dry. We're weird. You know what? I don't want to tell you my day anymore. My day it's hard. It's grueling. Lots of food, lots of makeup. No, but we get a lot of, there's definitely a lot of, it's just funny because even for like the smallest of scenes, and when you read it, you're like, all right, all we're doing is walking from there to there. But like as far as the actors go, we discuss it. Like I've never been on a show where we just discuss how we're going to walk or just talk about how everyone's feeling so that just in case we can, because sometimes in a scene we kind of create a little more of an extra moment just so, someone will be like, I'm going to do this. And so, I'm like, all right, well, I'll clock that. But it just helps a little bit with just instead of just watching people straight up travel. But everything's discussed and talked about, and we'll run it over and over again until they get bored of us acting in front of them. Yeah. Until the director's like, that's enough. You're done now. So early.
When they're when they're doing the flicking, did they ever look at your face and go, we flicked too much. We gotta do that again. Do you have to go through that?
They do a thing where they'll do, every director has a different approach on how to tell you you're doing something horribly wrong. Just a very like, hey Cooper, maybe on this one you won't. Let's try it like this and do it because that was great. But on this one, I'm like, that sounds like the other way was horrible. Then it's like, so you don't want me doing the stand up running and whatever. They're like, no, we got it. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do another version. No, but I mean, it's you get some weird directions. Last year I had because I have the kids on the show, and they wanted to like I'm pretending to be like a horsey, and I have the two kids on my back, and the girl Autumn, she's 3. She kept wanting to tip over and fall off. All right. Just because she's 3 and she can fall on grass and not hurt herself, I guess. And the director, and as I'm like, with both arms, the director goes, Cooper, try and keep her on your back. And I'm like, okay. And so that required me having to like get super low and then like throw her left shoulder and then try and catch her with my back. I don't know how to hold a kid. I don't know how to hold a child with my hands, let alone like on my shoulder blades. So she was taking a risk.
But eventually you got the shot.
We got the shot. Yeah, it ended up me, my forearm being in it, and then Avi and Denai doing their scene right by us. It worked out great. No, I think they had us like crawling around, but it was still. I'm like, is this all necessary? And then they took the kids away so that Denai and so that Michonne and Sadiq can just clock me in their scene, so they can just look at me, and I'm just crawling on my knees. So I had the first AD. I'm like, can you take a video of me just riding around like a horse off camera for these two? Oh, really?
You have that ability. You have the ability to, does he not? He has the ability to be on screen, and even though you're not the focus maybe of what's going on, you're the focus.
Well, in that episode, they seemed to do that on purpose, where they kind of focused on what was going on in the fair.
Look at the happiness. Yeah, it's like, look how happy everything is, guys. You know it's going to go great. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah, I even, when we... Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, let's just. I feel like I'm how you would focus. Like if you're at a fair and it's fun and you're like talking about business with somebody, you're like, look at Jerry's having fun, So I think that was their way of doing that. But yeah, when we did that movie theater scene, when we were watching the movie in that same episode, I remember trying to make it really like. Is Ezekiel dead? I was like, he's missing this. And I really tried hamming that up. So I don't know if you noticed that also. I was really trying to ham it like, hey guys, you should be worried about this because I'm just confused where he is right now. It's like, I hope he's not on a pike. Yeah. They didn't like that take though. I do this drawing at my table a lot where I'll put like, it looks like little lollipops. I'll put like sticks with like heads, and then I'll put my head. And I tell people that is why Jerry is alive. they'd be like, oh, who are all those heads up there? That's Jerry. Who are those though? That would have so. Having a big head has its advantages.
I think we've proven that you don't even have to get up to the microphone. I think we're in a close in enough setting that if you just want to fire off questions, you can do it. And that way, you don't have to get out from a landlocked position in the chairs. So, anybody with any questions about anything? We can't talk spoilers, of course. We can't. I don't think we want to talk spoilers, do we? You guys are no. We don't. No.
But tomorrow's episode is very, very good. When does it air here? When does the premiere air? It is tomorrow? Nice. Okay. Yeah, we when we were filming it and all that, I was like, oh damn, this is gonna be like one of the best seasons we've ever done. I mean, I've never said this about any of the other ones. Like I really enjoyed 9. 9 I thought was like really good, but like 7 and 8, I'm just like, I'm happy to be on the show, glad to be here. No, I have no opinions on anything. I just, it's fine. I'm having fun. But as a fan, I was like, that's interesting.
Of all the people you worked with, is there anyone that you miss in particular that's left?
Of people that have left that I miss in particular, I mean, we always talk about Lenny. It was that first season with us. Morgan, that first season, that Kingdom was there. He was our like liaison to the rest of the Walking Dead world, and he's just a super cool, super funny, and he's just good. He can just turn on the acting in a flash. And he always he just had something to say about everything, and he was just this chill guy that just made you feel like you belonged there. And yeah, I miss Lenny. So every time I see him, like I try and break his ribs with hugs.
How do you keep his English language in check?
Oh, geez, he he with us. That was when he first tried using his American accent throughout, like on and off set. While we're on set, but between takes, he would try and keep it. But the only times he would lose it if he started talking about London Theatre of Music, and then you would hear the British coming out. But he was just. I mean, I would divine things from what he said. I'd be like, what does he mean by that? I'd be like, you should ask your, he was telling this story and pretty much it wasn't a story about acting. It was just he's like, well, before we talk about that, we should talk about what I do for a living, like that kind of thing. I'm like, ask a question before you can ask a question. And then I started I was like thinking about that as acting. I'm like, well, why is he like this? Why would he say a line like that? Who says a line like that? Okay, well, where was it? And you just keep, and so because of him, though, I definitely overanalyze things. So thanks, Lenny.
But he must make you better at what you do.
Oh, of course. Yeah, well, I hope. If I'm worse, it's not because of him. Yeah, I'll say that.
Any other questions?
I'm just curious if you remember the most amount of takes you ever had to take for a scene, and if you have a story about that.
Late 18th hour. You've been on set. You're dirty. You're muddy.
There's well, when you said that, there's one for Walking Dead, but I did a background thing like years ago, and I remember the actor that they had up there. He was like he was a musician, and he had to deliver his lines, and he was just so bad at it. And I remember they were like, "It's not about you, man. It's about all of us. We're a team. It's not about you, dog. It's about all of us. We're a team. It's not about you, dog. It's about all of us. We're a team." I had to listen to that. No joke. I think I counted around like 33 repeats of that one line because it was just so bad. Yeah, the line was, "It's not about you, dog. It's about all of us. We're a team." So if you can find where that movie is from, then you'll know who I'm talking about. Episode. I'm the one bringing it up, but there's an episode coming up where I have to carry a person. You'll see it. You'll know what I'm talking about. And I have to like walk through kind of like this obstacle thing. And I can't lean on it because it's not real. Again, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm carrying this 110-pound woman, not heavy at all. But the thing is, I had a hernia for most of this year. And when I put it on Instagram, I was like, it like did a surgery thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, I hope you're okay." And I literally wrote, "Everything's fine." And then I guess everyone is so used to getting lied to that when I say everything is fine, I'm like, I'm serious. It's just a hernia. It's the most common of surgeries. I just don't want to say, my fat body ate too much and then I coughed and then, my stomach exploded. I didn't want to say that. So it was, so I have to carry this. I have to carry this person, and I get to the end of the things I'm having to climb over, and then these people, who again you will see, like dropped a line or forgot their line, like when I get there, and I would have to go and reset. And the girl, she knew it was that, and she felt so bad. And she's so tiny, all right? She's so tiny, and she's feeling bad. She's like, "I'm sorry, I'm so heavy." I'm like, "No, it's not. No, be sorry they're messing their lines up." So I had to do, I think, 6 takes. And that's the only time I was like, "Guys, really?" Like, and then I'm thinking, do I have to take it back all the way? Really? I have to go, okay, fine. So yeah. So even though it wasn't the most amount of takes, it was definitely the most I've ever felt. Then there was that time in season 7 where we had to, it's always me carrying people. Sorry, memories. Yeah, so season 7, again, Lenny being our liaison, being the, this is how we do it in The Walking Dead. There's one of the Kingdom characters, he got shot in the leg, Benjamin, and he's dying. And so the scene is we go from the truck and I run with him. All right, we all run with him and we take him to the house. And Lenny's like, "Yeah, we'll take it from the truck and we'll all run." I'm like, "Okay." And so we did 8 takes of that. But the thing was, everyone was like having a great time running, and it was really easy, not realizing I'm carrying most of him. Like they knew, and they figured this out because they slipped and Logan stayed up. So I'm still holding him, his whole 150-pound body, while they like dropped his leg. And then Lenny's like, "I just realized I wasn't holding any of him. I thought I was really strong." And I was like, and Carr was like, "Yeah, man, I thought I was." And I'm like, "Nope, none of you helped. Thank you. Thanks for being there." I'm like, like sprint. Yeah, let's sprint. This is gonna be a great scene. It was cut. It was cut from the whole episode. I'm not joking. It just it's us. Truck pulls up, us at the door. "Hey, can we come in? Our buddy's dying. So are we, because we ran with him. But you didn't see that because you just opened the door. But we did it. I want you to know we were rushing here." Yeah. It's never a fun time when we do a lot of takes.
Any Gatorade in that one? Anybody call him Gatorade?
That was before that was my first season, so I didn't feel comfortable asking for Gatorades yet. Water was fine.
All right, what's next for Cooper?
What's next for Cooper? Norman. He just looks things. No, the practical jokes. That was definitely a war between Norman and Andy. He was telling us some stories the other day that were, I didn't know about, I think it was like chicken. Like he put a bunch of chickens in his room one time. He says like whenever they'd go to like a hotel, he would charge it to Andy's room. Then there's the time where I just heard about all these. I'm sure people heard about, but Andy had taken Norman's motorcycle and put it into the middle of a lake. They put it on a thing and they just sit and Norman's like, "What the hell?" So there was just they had a lot. There was one where we were going to a convention in Tulsa, and it was a night shoot. This is when we were shooting the season 8 mid-season finale, where we see Carl's bite for the first time, and we were shooting till I think 6:30 in the morning, and our flight was at 9, and so we all like rush over to the airport, no sleep, and it's me, Kari, Alana, Austin, a few other people, and I think Seth was there, and then and Josh McDermott. And Josh, when we get off the plane, he just gets off like really fast and starts running. And when we get to the baggage claim, Josh had taken they brought 2 vehicles for all of us, and so he just took one and left. leaving the rest of us in this other vehicle, like having to squeeze in.
So how many people?
So it was like 6 people fitting into this car. I mean, with all our bags, and it was tight. It was and we're like, why did he do that? What was he thinking? Like, what was that? And so I started talking with Kari about like what we should do, and I was like, we should just take all his photos from his table and replace it with ours. And so Kari's like, Kari doesn't need a lot of. He's like, he just gave me like a serious look. He's like, all right. So we get to the convention. Josh comes up. He's like, oh my dude, I am so sorry. I thought we all had our own. I am so like he was super apologetic. Like he had no clue. He had no clue that he did that, and he was so sorry. He felt horrible, and he goes away. And I tell Kari, I was like, yeah, Josh came up. Apparently and Kari's like, oh yeah, I heard him. It's too late. It's like he's forgiven, but it's too late. So at the end of the convention, I see Kari, who by the way is like the fastest guy on the show. He can jump higher, run faster than everyone else easily. And I just see him like sprinting along, like he came to my table, took a bunch of photos. And so anyway, he went the next day. Josh shows up to his table and it's just replaced with all of our photos. It's like, he came up later. I mean, they were freaking out. Everyone was freaking out. They didn't know where the actual photos were. And then he came up. He was like, "That was good. That was pretty good. That was good." But you can tell it was like, "But don't do that again."
How much do you guys hang out? Do you have time for that? Everybody's got lives, a lot of families.
Well, with the way the episodes work, it's like sometimes the groups always. They always spread out, and they always so we're always working with different people. So a lot of us have like same off days for that. So we spend a lot of time with each other. One through the conventions, but I had a bunch of people coming over. Came over last weekend, and we'll do like Sunday like night or like Sunday early evening kind of gatherings, and we just sort of check up. Since Andy left. We're all trying to make sure that like we keep us all like tight and close, because that was his biggest thing. Like the biggest part of the acting, and I tried to implement this in Shazam, but the biggest part of acting is for these kind of groups and working on those relationships doesn't happen on set. I mean, it can, but you really get to read a person and know them better when you take that time off. So even though we're all spending time. We're actors. We observe each other. We can, we like doing impersonations of each other, and then but we can use that, and it gets us closer. So it makes for when we do scenes, we don't have to figure things out as long. Because we know how to communicate with each other. So yeah, a lot of time.
So the cast offset, that's key to the success on set.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a really big thing. And I mean, we all hang out a lot. I mean, there's so many of us that it's just so many places we go to. I'm like, yes, we have that, don't we? Yeah, and it really is something that it's like this crazy summer camp that you just you all have these moments. And so once I know you did that, I'm like, all right, we're cool. I don't know you, but I know like there's a lot of actors on the show who I haven't met from like season 5 and earlier and all that, and. But when we do meet, or when people who I hadn't met until we did this kind of thing, it's like we click like instantly. It's a very particular group of people that work on that show for sure.
When you look at kind of offset roles, you've got changes. You've got people who leave the show.
Yeah,
they're no longer there. So does that change the role that people play? Have you kind of worked into a different role from say season 7, 8? Now offset, you're having people over? Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely. Because with the new group, it's like it's. I mean, this is my 4th year on the show. I mean, I'm like, oh, I'm a senior. I'm a senior on The Walking Dead. This is great. But with all those things, and this is also my first year as a series regular, which was pretty cool. And
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. But with that comes like the responsibility of making sure you're making the show as best you can, and that means not just your job, but you take the time and with everybody. So yeah, because when Andy left, and he had this like wonderful. He gave us this wonderful speech, and the first thing he said is like no phones, and so like everyone put their phones down, and we were all bawling. I mean, it was like all of us, not a single person. I mean, literally all of us were crying, and he told us, first he slipped from, he finally went into his British accent, which was the first. He's like, I just want to say, I want to say, and then you're like, don't do that. He just turned the Rick Grimes off for the first time. He just turned it off, and but he told this. He said a lot, but the thing that he was talking about Jungle Book, and he's talking about Mowgli, and he's like, I never understood Mowgli. I never understood why he would want to go back when he's leaving Baloo and all his friends from the jungle and the craziness of the jungle. But he had to go home. And then he's like, I have to go home. And then you're like, damn, it's like you're crushing me here. So it was just this beautiful speech. But he was like, we're a family. Keep being a family. Keep making new people feel welcome. Bring them in, make them feel, And it was, and we're all like, of course. So and it's a good feeling. It's not like we have to do it, but it's we enjoy each other's company, and we all look up to Andy like with high regard. So if he says it, we do it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Question?
It's when we're first introduced to the kingdom, it's played up as if they believe they are a medieval kingdom. What was your reaction to that when you?
To me, it made perfect sense. It really did. One, I always dressed up and messed with swords when I was a kid. Been doing like sword training since I was 3, martial arts, same age. And I was always like, well, why would you not wear? It's like world's a little different. Protect yourself. And I was talking about like how sometimes you just need to offset yourself to not be. So even though this part's crazy, the rest is completely normal. So even though the kingdom, it's like, all right, well that's unusual. But the thing that I understood about it was like, we're fighting things that can just bite you, and they have no regard for their own life. So we can't threaten these things. It's just like walkers are impending death. They are death, and there's no compromise. There's no tricking. It's just, I guess you can cover yourself in guts and trick them, but it's not really it's coming for you regardless. And now we're seeing. In this season, a lot of the kingdom's techniques being used and implemented. So it seemed crazy, but now everyone is wearing armor, using shields, and so I feel like the rest of the group is catching up to our crazy, which doesn't seem so crazy anymore. It's like, bullets run out, right? We can't reuse them. So it was especially coming onto the show and being like, all right, so you're kind of used to this. Now it's going to get really weird. By the way, we have a tiger. So I mean, it is a tough pill to swallow, that's for sure. But as an actor, it's like, well, we're doing it. I'm not gonna play the guy that's unsure. So the thing I love about Jerry is like he's all in all the time, and so that's how I try and play him as well. It's like, yeah, yes, of course, that's just. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but yeah, Jerry would. So yeah, let's go big. Especially when it's we're doing that movie theater scene or the episode where we're stealing the projector bulb. There was a lot of why would they do that? And then I'm thinking, guys, it's been 6 years. They're all pretty good at killing walkers now. It's not as big a deal as it was. But when I rewatched the episode, I'm like, okay, I can see why people were worried. All right, I guess it looks a little suspicious. I had no clue.
Questions?
You need to get more swords if you're running out of ammunition. Everybody should be armed with a sword.
Yeah, I agree. And this season, pretty much everyone has a spear, staff, sword, some kind of weapon. It's like, yes, thank you. Yeah, it would. Yeah, because say again.
You're gonna run out of ammunition.
Oh yeah, no, I think we pretty much did. I think we got arrows and stones. Yeah, exactly. We were back in the Stone Age, and yeah, but I mean, it's like that's just it's more. It's the other thing about it, what I always thought the attraction of the show was like how I think everyone can relate to. What if everything stopped working? Who are you? Like, who are you in here? Like, can you get a group together? Can you make them feel safe? Can you actually keep them safe? And you start questioning like what is your worth as a person? And I think that's something that like everyone can relate to. I think that's why I think that is why the show became so popular. So when you get to people having to use weapons and stuff like that, it's like, well, what are you made of? You know, we're here. What are you actually made of? So it's that's why like Carol's using the bow, and she's just as good at that as she was with guns. And what? Say again? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when you're fighting like thousands of walkers, that's the way to do it.
In a world like that, it's good to be behind the guy who knows martial arts training and has some strength to him. So
yeah, that's always that always.
I don't know if it's good to be that guy, but it's good to know that guy.
I'm always scared to be that guy. I'm like, oh man, but we have there's some stuff coming. That's gonna be cool.
The girl that plays Carl's sister, are they going to move her into more individuality instead of following Carl's footsteps?
I don't know Carl's footsteps, but yes, Kaylee Fleming, who plays Judith, is awesome. I feel bad because it's like I'm always like when so many people say it, sometimes sounds like it's fake. I'm like, well, everyone says it, but she really is like this wonderful light of a human being. She's quick. She's like she can keep up just with jokes that are going on set. She makes choices that you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good one. And I straight up, if she were to start leading us as a human, not Kaylee, not Judith, but if Kaylee was to make a decision on something, I'd be like, all right, lead the way. You got it. She's got a lot of strength, and I think with her character, they're not gonna let that go to waste for sure. So yeah, she's got some stuff. Everyone's got some stuff this season. I love this season so much.
How far ahead do you get to know? How quickly do they show you that?
Oh, they give us like 3-4 months to. No, I'm kidding. No, not at all. No, we'll get the script like a week ahead. Sometimes sometimes it'll be like 4 days before we. So you have to. There's like story plots that we do know, and Angela's very very giving with that. She's able to. She lets us know kind of where everything's going. So, and just as an actor, it just lets you know to kind of prepare for that. Because then it's like, well, if that's happening, then maybe I'm going to play it like this, so that it can be a bigger leap of character arc and all that. So I like that she's able to share that stuff. But yeah, we'll still get a script like not too far ahead, and you have to like. And the thing is, your job as an actor, it's like you have to agree with the choices that were written for you. I mean, maybe you don't have to, but I mean, I do. So it's like, all right, well, okay. And then you have to start asking the questions again. It's like, well, what made him do this now? And so it definitely keeps you on your toes. It's definitely, with Shazam, I had the script like 3 months before we started filming, and it was just the one script. That's the length of two episodes. So. Yeah, not a lot of time. You have to think fast.
What was it like being in that world, in Shazam? I mean, I know we're going to talk Walking Dead, but if we had congratulations, by the way, another congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like being in that world and doing that kind of thing?
Shazam. I mean, Shazam is like, to me, it was the exact opposite of The Walking Dead, except for the everyone being close part. I definitely took the Walking Dead kind of mentality. We did a lot of dinners, a lot of what we call it YouTube night, pancake night. Where Faith, who plays Darla, she made these orange juice pancakes, which actually weren't too bad. I don't know if I'd ever do them again, but they were pretty good. I wouldn't make them. If she made them, I would eat them. Let me put it that way. But yeah, I took a lot of what I learned from Walking Dead, which was just how to like kind of bond with everybody. Because when you're with kids, it's like they're still great, but when they know you, they can. It's easier for them to make those decisions a little bit. And I tried to not act like their dad. I didn't want any moment for them to look to me as an authority figure, because it's like, hey, we're coworkers, and if you do some trouble, I'm not ratting you out. You know, you can take that up with your mom. I'm not your, you know, and so I want that trust to kind of be there. It's like, yeah, steal it, do it, bring me one, nice. They'll never suspect you. No, none of that. But it was also freezing, and it was here. It's Toronto. It's February to April of 2018. And so I think Zach and I were the only two people that didn't get sick on that entire time, because I was like, it is cold. I'm gonna go on the porch. I'm gonna stand out here, look at people from below. I'm gonna appreciate the freezing cold. We have some hot days when we're doing the beach stuff. It felt like 106 degrees. That was what the index said. People were passing out on set because no one realizes they're dehydrated. It's like, drink the water. Oh, I had some like 2 hours ago. It's not food. It's water. Come on. But when it got super hot, I would just reflect on my time in Toronto. I'd be like, okay, you're freezing on a balcony, wearing shorts and a t-shirt. All right, let's not pass out. Here we go. But I do, because I really enjoyed my time in Toronto. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we're going to get to make some more, because it was I liked going to the aquarium a lot, and I would there's this amazing, the best sushi I've had, and I went to Tokyo a few months ago. Best sushi I had though was a little north, but it's called Shoshin. And I couldn't believe how good it was. If you guys
Wait a minute, you're eating sushi in Tokyo and thinking when you're eating the sushi in Toronto, this is the best sushi.
The best sushi I've had so far was the one in Toronto. It's called Shoshin. I'm telling you, it's super authentic. But I had like a 35-day-old aged mackerel that and I was like, how do you age fish? And he's like, well, it's very wasteful, but you just cut it down and you cut it down, and every time it oxidizes, you just keep cutting it, and then all this all the good flavor is in there. So anyway, it's like it ruined every other sushi place for me for the rest of time, except Tokyo. Tokyo was still good. It would have been the best had I not eaten at this other place.
See, we're gonna have problems. We could say we're close enough to Toronto. We could run to Shoshin every once in a while. We could send you stuff, but the cobbler wouldn't get across.
You would take a bite. You wouldn't even want to send it. You'd be like, we tried. I don't know what happened. We don't even chew it anymore, apparently.
Question?
I wanted to compliment you on your role in Shazam. I totally forgot about your character in Walking Dead.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was. Victor. I do like playing. I definitely have a type. I like playing these good-natured, happy guys, but that's just because I don't want to get. I want to be versatile, but I want kind of when I do play a villain, you won't see it coming. And it will be very, and I don't want it to be like a subtle villain. It's just going to be, a villain. But that's for another time. That talk.
Are you hinting? Is Cooper hinting at something here?
I am.
Okay.
I am hinting at something.
I sense a hint.
There's a hint, and that was it. Yeah.
I noticed that they're starting to change some of the character arcs with Aaron being a little bit more questioning.
Yeah.
Is Jerry going to be going that way?
Is Jerry gonna get a little tougher like Aaron? Jerry, no. You know what I'm gonna say? No. What I like about Jerry is just his consistency. I think but there's definitely a lot of changes for my character that's coming up. That especially with Ezekiel having lost everything, and Jerry, who lost the kingdom, but he still has 3 kids and a wife. He's doing okay. So he's trying to just keep it. He is just trying to keep it together. But now it's sort of forcing him into a position that he wasn't before, having to step up a little more, and that's not his area of comfort. Yeah, I'm here to ruin your eyes. I don't want to look at this guy. Throw some more blood on his hair.
Okay, we're down to, let's say, 4 questions left, 3 questions. What do we have time for? So it's kind of, they can be all your questions, because ask them now or forever hold your peace.
Yes, give me questions. Well, that was just a continuous one. I pulled a hamstring, season finale of 7. That was hilarious. Kari was doing his super fast running. I used to be kind of quick, but I was a lot less fat when I was. And I was like, all right, Carl, let's do this. And so I take 3 steps and I'm like, oh, that was a click. That was a big click. And I'm like limping as he's like running through. So I hurt, I had this massive bruise from like calf to to back of hamstring, just from pulling the hamstring.
Can they write that then into the script for you so you can limp during work?
What I ended up doing, I asked camera. I was like, "Hey, where do I get off camera? Like if I cross left, will you be like?" Because I wanted to be because the first shot was a long shot of us running, and then the reverse was from the other side. This is at Alexandria when we're kicking the saviors out of the town, So when they do the reverse, the whole group is running already like 30 yards at this point, and I come in at the last second and like join in as I'm limping to make it look like I was running with them the whole time because I was hiding behind a bush. It's like the guy who like comes to a marathon for like the last half mile, like puts the paper on, is like, and so that's what I did. So yeah, that was a bad one. Yeah, injury. Yeah, hamstring.
2 questions left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I met Ruben and Denai, Alicia when we did San Diego. Ruben he's this big singer, and he's like taking just all these selfies. I've never seen someone of his age just take like so many selfies. And he was like, I should have done this when I was younger. I never did it. So now I'm just taking pictures of everything. And it was great because I'm like, thank you, because that is the whole point of this. But it's a really good cast. I really hope we can all cross over and make some epicness.
Final question. Who's going to ask it?
Hi, I was just wondering if you guys got to pick your weapons, and if so, why the double-headed axe?
The axe I had no choice on.
No? Okay.
But I knew how to use.
Or what weapon would you have chosen?
The one I have now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I trained. Yeah. Sword is something I've been doing since I was 3. Started with like step. I wasn't holding a sword at 3, but learning footwork, triangles, lines, I always wanted a sword. So when I did the Shiva episode, they gave me an axe and the sword to use at the same time. And I'm like, this isn't what I meant. But like, this isn't. I need 2 hands with the axe, so I had to do like this. So they let me come up with like kind of my choreo and stuff like that. But with the axe, I liked using it a lot because it was a big guy, big weapon, and I like the idea of Jerry sort of always being more of a shield than someone going out there to kill. That's never. And I always thought like I always think of a shield as protection, but the sword, especially that style of sword, it was almost like they read my mind because I'm okay with it. I'm okay. It
works. With it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys.
Cooper, thank you for being here tomorrow night, and then.
Yeah.
Shazam, if you haven't seen it, and then, well, who knows? We'll see what that next thing might be.
Yeah, some more.
Cooper, thanks.
Thank you, guys.